This is Blue. It's the revival of the Blue Green Man channel. Merged it with the Moderate Thinker channel. April 6th. It's coronavirus still spreading, still shut down, businesses closed. People are stuck inside. Some of them having a good time, some of them not having a good time. It's time off work, time with your family, for better or worse. Work out some things that should have been talked about, and understandings that should have been established probably before now. But that's a whole different topic. Right now I wanted to talk about the mask situation and the PPE in general. Of course, you know there's a shortage of masks, and there are people hoarding masks, deliberately keeping them away from Americans. I saw a video about that. Chinese nationals buying up as much as they can just to keep it away from American consumers. It's an active war as far as I'm concerned. But there are alternatives. I'm gonna give you a screenshot of an article I read about a week and a half ago, and there are alternatives that you can use. People have said that homemade masks are not good, don't wear them, they probably got more germs in them than they're going to keep you safe from. That's just not true. Obviously, you wash it, use bleach, it'll be pretty clean. They do work. They did some research showing the best materials to use for homemade masks. I'm working on a design, very simple design, for a homemade mask made out of a dish towel, and it takes a filter. If you want to add a filter in the middle, some kind of maybe air filter material, something like that. And that's really easy. I'll show you a picture of that too. I'll go over that real quick. Also, there's the matter of the stimulus check that they're talking about. Now, Trump, I heard, is considering a second round of stimulus checks, which is, I still haven't gotten the first one. See how that goes. It'll be nice to have. Looking forward to that. Not looking forward to going to the bank to deposit that. I might wait. I'm afraid to wait a day or two or three even to go places I need to go to get what I need to get. I want to wait because of the crowds, but I'm afraid to wait a few days to do it because I'm afraid they're gonna shut shit down and I will have waited too long. And so that's gonna be fucking fantastic, going to the bank with all those people. Fortunately, I'm not in a hot spot per se. Actually, not too far from one of my state's hot spots, but not in it. I don't bank right in it, so I've got a little bit of PPE. Hopefully that'll be fun. What are you gonna spend it on? That's a good question. I wonder. I would assume a lot of people are going to spend it on rent, more food, bottled water, paper goods if they can find it. Seems like a lot of people are not wanting to jump off that craze just yet. I wish they would. Most of those products aren't even necessary. But it's a rush. It's a paper rush. That's the way it goes. I'm not hoarding anything, and that was a good decision in hindsight because they're starting to confiscate things that people did hoard. I wish I had hoarded some masks and gloves and shit because I actually would have liked to be one of the ones who donated a bunch of stuff to these hospitals and things like that. Not for the attention, I like to feel good about stuff I do like that. I'm poor, so I don't really get the opportunity much. It's like a treat when I can drop $75 on St. Jude's or something. So, I just feel like I've contributed. Because my day-to-day is not very rewarding for the soul. Also, I was thinking about the best way to invest this $1,200, and I know people have to cover their basic expenses, and I do too, but I had some ideas, and I wanted to spitball some of that. Basically, these ideas, they're mostly investments in your personal capabilities to get by if things shut down worse, if things do get worse. And it's things like how-to books, technical books, electronics, sewing, anything to do with making something that you might need that you would otherwise buy. With the economy shut down, if it stays that way, you might not be able to buy everything, not even, even furniture. Just if you got a shop, you can make some furniture, maybe even trade it for other things that you need. Right now, I'm learning how to sew, which is not the most masculine skill, but I'm glad I'm doing it because it is an important thing to know how to do. And I'm just getting better sewing up a couple of reusable masks, washable masks out of dish towels. I have some books on programming that'll give me something to do in this downtime. I'm using it a little bit, making a play at something that could be a game. It's kind of like a game. Started as it was a bigger ambition than I could really handle by myself with my skills. It's going to be a simulation. I think I could do something pretty good, even useful for scientific or mathematical projections. But ultimately, I think it'll be more on the level of a video game than a scientific tool. Still, though, that's something. Might hit these books, learn how to build some electronics, because there's some things I wanted to do. And that means I would need a few tools, not a whole shop, just a few things. You can't really craft much at all without the right tools. So I would recommend, if you think you need tools to make something that you can make, that you might need, or that you can trade to somebody who might need it. I would recommend that you do it. Go easy on materials. Don't blow it on that. This is kind of me talking to myself. Just maybe a book to learn how to do it. A few cheap materials that you could makeshift enough to know how it works, to see that you could do it. And the reason I think this is kind of a priority that people should consider is because with this economic shutdown, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. A lot of people are going to be having to find a new line of work. And it would be good to know how to do things that you didn't, or to get better at things that you barely could do before. And if I'm correct in my assessment that this shutdown, this isolation, is going to result in a boom, almost like a dot-com bubble of independent, small home and family businesses, of people trying to make a thing, build a thing, manufacture a thing to feed their families. I mean, I think this shutdown is going to kind of force people to want to bring up all the business themselves that we lost to China as a result of the raised taxes and NAFTA, CAFTA, whatever it was that we've been complaining about so long. Yeah, people are going to start their little, they're going to take their little garage, that spare room, and I think they're going to at least play at the idea of starting their own thing. And that could mean a boom sometime in the next 10, 20 years as it grows and matures and stabilizes, because it will be chaotic with everybody trying to do everything themselves all at once. They'll have to team up, merge, sell out, things like that, to sort of converge into a whole new economy. But it starts with all these little family cells, or bachelors, or teenagers, now that they don't go to school like normal. I mean, they still do their school. But yeah, especially if you got kids, teenagers, people that are fixing to be teenagers, get some books. Get some books. Ask them what they want to know how to do, what they would like to do for a living. And it could be cool. Could be very cool. Could be almost like playing a video game. There's a pandemic. It's shut down. Everything's going to shit. You got to work on your skills to get good to level up your electronic skill, your mechanical skill, your trapping, your whatever, crafting, any craft. Learn how to make suits, bags. Learn how to make stuff out of wood. Got the resources and the space to start a little forge, even a little small homemade forge made out of bricks and a tire well or something. I mean, you know what I mean? You know, the cheap forges you see on YouTube. Get on it. Seize the day. Start cranking up those skills. This is also a great time to learn something about medicine that you didn't know before. I think, obviously, in the middle of a pandemic like this and this kind of crisis, there's going to be more people learning stuff about, well, diseases, at least. More people knowing about that stuff. But yeah, if more people, if say 20-30% of people decided to learn something about any field of medicine, that would be great. Now's the time that you and everybody else needs to know. So that'd be good. Even if you wouldn't expect to get a job in those fields, it'd be good to know how. Just in case. Just in case you need to know. I've been doing it for years. Learning about everything from nutrition to diseases to a lot of different things. Not that I can do a lot of stuff, but I do have some basic minimal knowledge about a lot of things, just because I was interested. I just wanted to know, and I'm glad I did. Don't neglect what you do know how to do, because what you can do well now is what you can do now, and right now is right now. You know, learning for later, that's later when it pays off. What you do now is what pays off now. Not much everybody can do, but I did get some things. I'm making some kind of masks, and I'm hoping to either pass them out to people I want to have them, or maybe find a good trade. I'm torn. I know there's people that really need to have that kind of stuff. I don't know any directly. I don't have enough to supply a whole like hospital. Maybe a few nurses, or a doctor's office, or a dentist's office. I'm working on it. But then I gotta, like I said, I'm poor, and I've got to cover shit I need too. So it's one of those decisions. Don't know yet, but it's good to have the option. And to lighten it up, what are people doing for fun? They're sitting at home, they gotta be doing something, they gotta be getting tired of each other. do something to keep the peace. I'm sure people are on their phones a lot, watching movies, playing games. I actually went and got a couple of PS3 games because they're a lot cheaper than the new stuff, the new generation of games. Yeah, I'm gonna have fun playing those. A lot more time to do that now. Honestly, it feels unproductive. Now it seems more than ever, I feel like I'm not doing anything important. But at the same time, I'm doing more other than work and getting paid and, things you have to do, daily stuff. I'm doing more that I know I should do, that you can't just self-motivated and that I care about. Than I've done in a long time. I wonder if other people are having that situation, that feeling. Um, I think it's a good thing, that sense of urgency, that sense of duty. Nobody's got to tell you to do it. I've made more videos in the past couple of weeks than I made for months. Not that that's really important. Never had a big channel. Not too many fans. I don't really know any fans. Very, very small. I started it and then got bummed out and quit. Now it seems more important. I think that could be said about a lot of things. And I wonder if millions of other people are feeling the same way about different things. Or you think they're just enjoying the time off. It's almost kind of... It's messed up how bad things are with this pandemic. But at the same time, it seems like there's so much out there that's getting better because we're all shut in. Crime has dropped in a lot of places, violent crime. Rivers and beaches are cleaner and water's clearer and smog's going away in the big cities and people are off work that needed to be with their families before, needed the time to think about their life, their situation. Didn't have the time. Schools are shut down, which, it's good and bad. Kids aren't getting the education, but then keeping up with all this, really horrible stuff that they were putting in kids' heads in school. It's almost like there's some bad, but there's some good with it. And I do kind of believe that it is from God in some ways. And as for the chaos that might ensue, the looting, the rioting, the violence in the streets, I'm almost tempted to just be glad and call it justice. Because it wouldn't be that way if people were not that way to begin with. It's like, it's not that things get so much worse when there's a lapse in control and there aren't enough people to enforce the law. It's not that people get worse. It's that people can get away with the things they wanted to do in the first place. And I wonder what's going to happen. You think all the bad guys are going to go crazy and try to tear everything up and wind up just destroying themselves and getting destroyed by the good ones that they kind of try to attack just out of self-defense? They just, I don't know. I'm expecting kind of a, for lack of a better word, a purge. And I don't think it'll be the good stuff that gets purged. Mostly, I think it'll be the ones that kind of brought it on themselves from their own sins. But if that chaos happens, that is the time that you really need. If you either fight it like a justice warrior, not a social justice warrior, but a holy, righteous, do-gooder, destroyer of evil and corruption. Or if you can't, if you're too scared, you need to go with Jesus and what he said. Be the meek, give to all those who ask of you, and don't resist the one who's evil. If someone steals your cloak, then give them your tunic as well. If someone forces you to go a mile, you go with them too. Because that's how you stick around for when things get better. Which they should. So long as the bad folks keep doing what they do, logically, they'll be destroyed. And the good folks who did the better things, logically, they'll be left over. And maybe things will get better. And this collapse, the things would never have been so bad as there might be. Really might be. Almost even probable. Not quite. I think it could go either way. It could work itself out, or it could get really bad. But if it gets bad, I think it's going to be really bad for a minute. Because justice in this country, and in many countries, has become so unjust, so corrupted, and just ruined, that there's a lot of evil that has been protected, and it has prospered as a result. And now there's so much bad. People don't see it because there's been peace and plenty, and everybody's been fat and happy. Not even much to fight over. They still found reasons, but not like they will when they get desperate. And it would have never had to be this way if it wasn't for the sins leading up to this. So, be ready. If you're good, if the truth is in you, if goodness and honor is in your soul, don't be stupid, be ready. Do what you got to do to be here when all the other shit died. and be their own fault. And good riddance.